please tell me about yourself.
Okay, my name is Bjorn Stodart, and I am the creative team lead at Pepper Advertising. I'm working at Pepper for about 8 years. I started in September 2008, so about 7.5 years. And my background is in graphic design. I studied at the University of Central Florida, graduated in 2004 with a degree in digital media, which again focused on graphic design and computer animation. I worked in publishing for about 3 years in Florida, so I have a huge background in multi-page documents, books, annual reports, layout, design, and from there I shifted into advertising. My first job in advertising was at Pepper, and it remains to this day. I started as a junior artist, and over time just kept rising up the ranks to the position I'm in today. And advertising is a really fun career. It's a lot of fun. It's creative. You work with all types of interesting people, and I didn't really see myself in this industry when I was in school, but I can't imagine myself anywhere else now that I've reached this point. Thanks.
Question 2.
Well, my name is Dominic Fields. Yes, my name is Dominic Fields. I'm a senior graphic artist here. Basically, I started off as a fine artist, to be honest. I did not see myself going into graphic design or anything like that. I was in UE and doing my fine art degree. And actually, in my third year, is when I was talking to someone, and a fellow graphic artist. Actually, she was quite a good artist, as a matter of fact. And she was telling me, she said, "Why don't you expand yourself? Why don't you get into graphic design and stuff? It's fun. You can definitely bring your fine art skills into that." And I was like, "Okay, no problem." I didn't go towards getting any particular formal training for it, but we had a few short courses that kind of touched on it, so it was quite interesting actually. But I said, okay, no problem. I jumped right in. I got the knack for it pretty quickly. Did a lot of tutorials and really built myself up, and surprisingly I got very, very good at it, and I went into my first advertising agency actually was McCann. And I mean, for that to be like your first job, that was really big for me, because McCann is like one of the big boys, McCann, Lonsdale, all these guys, so for them to actually take me in, that was a big thing, and I definitely must say that I learned quite a lot in that space of time that I was there. I was there for about 2 years, 2.5 years, and I went over to Publicis. And again, even though they are a small agency, I actually learned quite a lot from the art director over there. Actually, he schooled me, even though he was younger than me or whatever. It was just right. I learned so much in those 2 agencies, and then to come over to Pepper and to share all that I've learned, and to learn even more from the people that are here, because it's such a diverse skill set. And for me, my passion is Photoshop and photo manipulation and all that stuff. I love the fantasy aspect of it, and I definitely could say on a daily basis that I learn so much from everybody, even if it's the slightest, it is the littlest thing, and it's so good to know that you can bounce ideas off of all these different people, and there's a camaraderie in this industry. I believe, you would always have your competitiveness, but I think there's so much going on in the background of this industry that, advertising has definitely expanded tremendously, and I am grateful that I actually fell into this field. I love it. I've always loved art since I was small, and I hope to continue doing it for a long time.
What are your thoughts on the evolution of print advertising in Trinidad today?
From what I've seen in the space of time that I've been doing this, I mean, growing up, you're looking at ads in the papers, you're seeing it being a certain kind of way, just very monotone, just basic, all that stuff. I didn't really have a understanding of what it was all about because, as I said, I wasn't really into that until later on. But as I got into this, into advertising, I started to pay more attention to the way things were done. And when I do a comparison as to what I used to see, I think that we have definitely taken leaps forward in the way that artwork is prepared and the way it's structured. So much so now that you have people actually going towards doing, well, I wouldn't say 3D, but it's coming outside of the box, literally. You no longer have to stay within, the lines. You can have, you may notice it now where you see a strip ad is more of a vertical ad, but instead of having straight lines inside, the artwork actually comes out, so I think we are moving forward, even though we may be still a bit behind when it comes to the international market. I think Trinidad and Tobago is still trying to move forward, cautiously, because our people here are not always welcoming when it comes to new things. So we definitely have stepped forward a lot compared to how it used to be, in terms of the colors, the layouts, all these different things, showing certain elements that may have been taboo in the earlier days, and even so much so when I was in Macan, we were trying to actually do 3D print ads where you have the newspapers actually doing a section where they're giving you 3D glasses to look at an ad, and I wasn't expecting that at all, and I was so glad that I was able to be a part of that, to see those kinds of things come through. So I think that we are definitely, advertising is really stepping this game up, especially in Trinidad and Tobago, and I hope that we can expand even further.
Well, with that being said, I want to ask question 10. What do you see for the future of print advertising in Trinidad?
I think what is going to end up happening, I think we're going to eventually move away from print, because now that technology is advancing so rapidly, we're going to lose the need for this. It is a classic medium, but eventually, just like how everything now has evolved, let's say for example like photography, everybody was all about, hey, I have to have my physical photo, but now because of social media, people don't hold on to the tangible anymore. Most people, I should say, not everybody, but most people, and you tend to find a lot more companies gravitating towards social media because they think that they're going to hit people a lot faster and a lot harder that way, right? In terms of print, the most I could see actually is probably improving the quality. How nice would it be if a newspaper is a magazine? We no longer have newsprint, so we can have crisp, great quality ads on magazine quality paper every day to read, you know what I mean? So I think that may be the next step, or probably taking a newspaper and expanding it into a 3D format or something of that nature that could be a little bit more interactive, where you could take apart the newspaper and you can build things, or things like that, that would allow somebody to just not say, okay, it's just a newspaper or whatever, and you just take it as oh wow, okay, this ad is wow, and it's more engaging,
Question 3. What types of advertising techniques are commonly used in print advertising?
Well, there are many, and it is entirely dependent on the product, the client, the message that you want to send. We use many communication tools. I wrote down a few here. You can create an interesting character. You could introduce a human touch or have personification to reach people. You can take it over the top and go with extreme exaggeration. These are a few different techniques that we see commonly in advertising. Based on your demographic, you want to target a specific group of individuals as that type of positioning. You can use metaphors or similes. You can use emotion or tell a story. You can sell with sex. That's always popular. You can use radical realism. There are many techniques in advertising that you can do to create extremely dynamic, engaging imagery. But again, it's entirely dependent on who is your target, what is your message, what is your product, and yeah, the thing about it here in Trinidad is that our typical clients do not want to go crazy with their ads. Although we are a crazy bacchanalist people, we are extremely conservative
Yep.
in advertising.
Very much so.
And I cannot wait for those doors to open because